So, see, brand building is simple, but it's not easy. Logos, taglines, packaging, those are the clothes a brand wears. They must be distinctive, but they are not the brand. I feel brands are built on clarity, and the most powerful form of clarity is knowing what you stand against, especially in commodity or challenger categories. Defining your enemy is transformative, and every great brand has done this. So, if you see Burger King versus McDonald's, or the Cola Wars, or Mac versus PC, but the enemy is not always a competitor. So, for example, in insurance, for us, the enemy is confusion, hidden clauses, claim anxiety, mistrust. For Wakefit, the enemy wasn't another mattress brand, it was hustle culture, the belief that sleep is laziness. So, they stood for good sleep and not just for good mattresses. So, the moment you define the real enemy, decision making becomes simpler. Product choices, tone of voice, hiring, partnerships, you stop drifting and you start fighting something specific. And consistency becomes easier. Learn distribution before you learn marketing campaigns, advertising. Ideas are very easy to admire. Distribution is what turns them into business. So understand how attention actually works, objectively and subjectively. Like, ask yourself, why does something trend? Why does one reel get saved and another ignored? How does search signal buying intent? And how does retention compound? And what makes algorithm reward certain behavior? So if you understand distribution systems, platforms, media, retention loops, you will always be valuable. Second, I feel, be the strongest consumer voice in the room. You'll likely be the most junior person there, but the moment you say, I spoke to 10 customers and here's what I learned, you command attention of everyone. There's no hierarchy against consumer truth. So I feel AI works best when you don't outsource thinking to it. Like, I found it most powerful when I start my own point of view, give it context, my learnings, my observation as a human being, and then use it as a thinking partner. So I use it to stress test a strategy, play devil's advocate on messaging, simulate customer objections, alternate framings. So the biggest advantage isn't intelligence, it's iteration speed right now. It allows me to explore surface area faster, or maybe help me think more, but the depth will come from human judgment. I think it'll be an obvious answer, but How Brands Grow by Byron Sharp, and read it along with Building Distinctive Brand Assets, because the biggest takeaway for me was that growth comes from increasing penetration, not just loyalty. And mental and physical availability matter more than brand love. So it forces you to think in terms of reach, distinctiveness, memory structures, consistency, not just storytelling, right? And even if you disagree with parts of it, every marketer should read it at least once. It recalibrates your mental model of growth. Another strong recommendation, it's a fun book called Fast, Cheap and Viral by Ashish Chopra. It's practical, jargon-free, grounded in real distribution learning, especially from the early organic content experiments at Ixigo. It's a reminder that creativity plus smart distribution can outperform large budgets. So they say you can take work out of marketer, but you cannot take marketer out of the work. So I consume a lot of content deliberately, like not doom scrolling, but like studying. When something resonates, I ask, why did this work? What emotion did it trigger? What behavior did it tap into? Why did people share or save it? I also then try to create content myself, often opinions that nobody asked for. So that process is incredibly instructive. Publishing forces clarity. So feedback reveals behavior, and behavior is marketing. So curiosity stays alive when you observe people closely, especially at scale. So yeah. From a marketer's lens, I deeply admire the whole truth. I mean, they've stood firmly for a truth and stayed committed for it for years. Not just campaigns, like not just positioning, it's a belief system. And I've always respected brands that pick a side, articulate it clearly, and show up consistently around it. For a long time, I also admired Indigo for exactly that reason. The clarity of their tonality, the discipline in their communication, the operational first positioning. Like, it felt coherent until a lived experience being stranded for 10 hours broke that narrative for me. And that's the thing about strong brand promises, when they crack, the fall is like sharper. On the other hand, as a consumer, I felt a deeper connection with the brands that I have worked for, whether it's Acko, Wakefit, Make My Trip. I'm not saying it out of bias, but context. You know, when you see the inside, the debates, the product trade-offs, the effort to simplify, the intent to remove friction, genuine attempt to do right by customers, you develop a different kind of respect, and you realize brand is not advertising at all, not just advertising at all. It's accumulated intent. And when a company is genuinely trying to build with both heart and rigor and for the consumer good, it eventually compounds. So, yeah.